Good morning, guys. In yesterday's class, we will discuss about magnetostatics, right? By Ort's law and their applications. In today's class, we will discuss about what are the different materials. Okay, um, its dipole moment and polarization characteristics. Okay, current types and current densities. Okay, and important derivations related to that current continuity in materials. Okay, and the current densities, okay, in terms of polarization and dipole moments, okay, and next capacitance of a parallel line and coaxial lines. Okay, these are different concepts. Okay, that's more okay, that will be covered in this topic. See here, okay, no need of that introduction part, that is already, already what is meant by Coulomb's law and what is meant by Gauss law. Okay, use it to determine the static electric field, okay, by using the charge distribution. Okay, and it also, okay, remember, this part of the content is belongs to electrostatics. Okay, this part of, actually this is the second part of that third unit. Okay, but before going to this topic, okay, for comparison purpose, okay, in last class I will start that magnetostatics. Okay, so for the further continuation, okay, I will okay, I want to compensate the remaining topics on that first unit. Okay, okay. See here, in the previous chapter, we already know Coulomb's law and Gauss law that can be used to determine the static electric field by using charge distributions. Okay. We also saw how that electric field can be calculated by using potential. Okay. Relation between V and E is already, uh, V and E is already, okay. In this chapter, we will discuss the characteristics of static electric fields in conductors, static electric fields in conductors and dielectric materials. Okay. Already, what is meant by conductor and what is meant by dielectric material. Okay. So, we will also define the concepts of electric current and Okay, sorry for the interruption, guys. So, what is meant by conductor? Already you know from the concept of materials in electronic devices and circuits. Okay, conductors, and the conductors are the materials uh, which are enriched with electrons or actively participated in current conduction. Right? They are conductors. Okay, the materials which doesn't conduct current, okay, are called non-conducting materials or simply insulators. Okay, or simply dielectrics. Okay, see here, actually, as per the electromagnetic field theory, these materials are classified into two categories as a conductors and insulators. Okay, not semiconductors. Okay, remember that point. Okay, so current carrying materials are called conductors. Non-current carrying conductors are called insulators. Okay, this classification is also right. See here, the crystalline material, the electrons process energy due to the interaction forces between the adjacent atoms. Okay, and atom to atom force, that is the covalent bonding. Energy levels processed by the electrons are grouped into energy bands. That is the concept is already okay. At a given temperature, the electrons with low energy levels called valency electrons, and the electrons which are in the outermost orbit, right? They are called valency electrons, which are located in the valency band. Similarly, the higher energy levels where the electrons are move freely are called okay, in the band of conduction. Okay, for the conductors, the valency band merges with conduction band. Okay, for that materials, the conduction band and valency band are completely isolated, is called insulators, right? So there is no energy gap between them. Okay. The external energy is applied, the electrons in the valency band is moved into the conduction band, resulting from electron flow. Okay, the materials such as gold, silver, aluminum, copper, okay, and all the metals almost have a very large number of free electrons at room temperature. Okay, uh, okay, the conduction band and valence band, the valency band, the conduction band and valency band, these two bands having some gap, right? Okay, that gap is called forbidden gap. Okay, the forbidden gap is a gap between the valence band and conduction band. Okay, and that much amount of energy is required to move the electron from valency band to conduction band. You have to apply. Okay, the valency electrons cannot jump into the conduction band with the application of normal external energy. Okay, so the materials with a large forbidden gap called insulators. Okay, what is the typical value of that energy gap for the insulators? Is the ideally the 6 electron volts, right? Six electron volts. Okay, that's 6 electron volts. And for suppose when we consider the diamond, okay, that diamond having an energy gap of 6 electron volts. Okay, and take the wood, plastic, rubber. Okay, these are all having energy gap as 4 electron volts to 5 electron volts. Okay, remember that point. Okay, these type of materials doesn't possess any current conduction. Okay, or it doesn't possess any free electrons at room temperature. When the external energy is applied, okay, the electrons cannot move or unable to move from conduction band to valence band to conduction band, resulting there is no freely available electrons in the conduction band. Okay, as a result, there is no current passing through. Okay. But when sufficiently large amount of external energy is applied, okay, the valence electrons jump into the conduction band, resulting in the breakdown of materials. Okay, and they are permanently damaged. Thereafter, the materials may not behave like an insulator anymore. Get it? So the materials with small energy gap between conduction band and valence band are called semiconductors. The only small amount of external energy is required to move the electron from valence band to the conduction band. That is already Okay, what is the typical energy gap between conduction band and valence band? What are the semiconducting materials? What are the well-known semiconducting materials? Semiconducting materials. Okay, in periodic table, the fourth group elements. Okay, in periodic table, all fourth group elements are called semiconducting materials. Okay, what are the fourth group elements? Silicon and germanium, right? Silicon and germanium are the most popular and well-known semiconductor materials for tetravalent group elements, right? Similarly, what are the trivalent group elements? Trivalent group, trivalent and pentavalent. Okay, trivalent, boron, indium, gallium, aluminum, right? Similarly, pentavalent, bismuth, arsenic, antimony, phosphorus. Okay, all these are fifth group elements. Okay, first group, second group, third group, fourth group, fifth group. Already you know. Okay, okay. According to their valence electrons, they are classified, right? Okay, for semiconductor materials, the outermost orbit electrons are only four, right? Four valence electrons is having. That's why that is called tetravalent. If it is having three, that is trivalent. If it is five, it is pentavalent. Okay. And the energy gap between the conduction band and valence band in the typical semiconductor is 1.1 electron volt. Remember that point. That is also very important. For silicon material, what is the energy gap between conduction band and valence band at ordinary temperature, at room temperature? Okay. And at absolute 0 degrees? At absolute 0 degrees, the conduction band and valence band gap is 0.782 electron volts. At room temperature, it is 0.72. Okay. Similarly, for germanium material. Okay, conduction band and valence band gap. Sorry, for silicon material, that is 1.21 electron volts at room 0 degrees and 1.1 electron volts at room temperature. For germanium material, it is 0.782 electron volts for 0 degrees and 0.72 electron volts for room temperature. Okay, and with respect to temperature, the energy gap is varied. Okay, okay, materials with small energy gap between the conduction band and valence band is very small is called semiconductors. Only small amount of external energy is sufficient to move the valence electron, okay, into the conduction band. Semiconductors such as silicon and germanium have relatively a small number of free electrons. Okay, the energy bands of materials are shown in figure. Okay, for the remaining concept, okay, please go through, okay, the semiconductor physics. So okay, the first unit of our ADC subject. Okay, please go through for okay for the information. This is the valence band and this is the conduction band. These two are overlapped together. For the conductors, for semiconductors, this energy gap is relatively low. Okay, around 1.1 electron volt. Okay, and for the insulators, this conduction band and valence band, the energy gap is relatively high, around 6 electron volts. Around 6 electron volts. That much of energy gap is there. Okay, okay, those are all okay, are the basics. Okay, and for that for this subject, this basics is required, but in exam point of view, it is not required. See here the behavior of the conductors in electric field. How the conductors are behave in electric field in the presence of electric field. Okay, conductors such as metals possess a large number of mobile charges. Okay, mobile charges means carrying conductors. Okay, under equilibrium condition, the free electrons move randomly within the conductor. That is already you know, and constitutes static charge. Okay, the net flow of charge is zero. Okay, the net flow. Okay, and the net distance traveled by the each electron is okay. The net displacement, not the distance. The net displacement traveled by each electron is zero. Okay, when external field is applied, the positive free charges move along the direction of the field, and the negative free charges in the opposite direction. Okay, the free charges pile up on the exterior surface of the conductor. Okay, this charge is called inducer surface charge. Okay, or simply they are called as surface charges. Okay, with surface charge density is rho s. Okay, the inducer charge between the surface developed an induced field EI, okay, which cancels the applied electric field E. Okay. Therefore, the net electric field inside the conductor is so. Therefore, the net electric field. Therefore, the net electric field inside the conductor is zero. Okay. The charges on the surface have an equal potential. Okay. The charges on the surface have an equal potential. That is, the conductor surfaces become equipotential surfaces. Okay. That is equal to minus delta. E equal to minus del V, okay, which value is 0. Okay. According to the Gauss law, since the electric field inside the conductor is 0, the charge density rho V is also 0 under the static conditions. Therefore, under the static conditions, for a perfect conductor, E equal to 0 and rho V equal to 0. Okay, that's why that V value under the potential inside the material is also 0. Okay, E equal to 0, rho V equal to 0, V is also 0. Okay. Properties of the conductors under the electric field. Properties of the conductors under an electric field. Okay, which type of properties it obeys? The electron charges move on the surface of the conductor. Okay, this results in zero electric field inside the conductor. Okay, that is a first important point. Okay. The volume charge density rho V is 0 within the conductor. Okay, volume charge density rho V is also 0 within the conductor. Okay, the charge exists only on the conductor surface is called induced surface charge. Okay, that is the point we discussed above. The conductor has an equipotential surface, that is potentially same in everywhere on the surface. Okay, the electric field intensity at any point on the surface of the conductors normal to the surface. Okay. The potential across the conductor is equal to magnitude of the externally applied potential, but opposite in the direction. That's why they are cancelled each other. Okay, the flow of charge is proportional to the applied potential. Okay, the flow of charge and how fast the electrons are moving, it depends upon the applied potential. Okay, similarly, the proportional constant is called resistance. That already you know. Okay, V equal to IR. Okay, V proportional to I, right? And whenever the potential increases, electron flow increases. Whenever that electron flow increases, current passing through that material also increases. Okay, what is the proportionality constant replaced with R, right? The surface charge density is rho s, and the field on the conductor surface should satisfy the boundary conditions. Okay, actually these are the boundary conditions. These are the upcoming concepts. Okay, the surface charge density is rho s, and the field on the conductor surface should satisfy the boundary condition. Okay, namely the normal component field, the normal component of the field exists in the tangential component is 0. Okay, actually you have a mathematical proof of, okay, for that sentence. Okay, the surface charge density is rho s, and the field on the conductor surface should satisfy the boundary conditions, namely the normal component of the field and what are the perpendicular component of the field is existed, and the tangential component is 0. Okay, that tangential component E tan and the electric field actually that is the electric field, that E tan equal to 0. Electric current I, the electric current is defined as the rate of flow of free electrons through the medium. Okay, the electric current is defined as rate of flow of free electrons. That is already you know, right? I equal to dq by dt. The electric current I, which is defined as the rate of flow of free electrons, okay, through the medium, it can be expressed as I equal to dq by dt. Okay, the units of a current, okay, are obviously amperes, right? Okay, the negative side indicates the flow of current is opposite to the electron flow. Okay, when the charge of 1 coulomb is passing through, okay, when a charge of 1 coulomb is passes across the surface in 1 second, okay, a current of 1 ampere flows through that surface. Okay, there are three types of currents. Okay, this is very important. Okay, there are three types of currents. Okay, conduction current or drift current, displacement current, okay, and diffusion current. Okay, these are the three types of currents: conduction current, displacement current, and diffusion current. Conduction current or drift current. Okay, the current flowing due to the flow of free electrons or the drifting of electrons in a conductors under the influence of an external battery is called drift current. Drift means moving, right? Drift means moving. And when the movement occurs, when we connect one external electric field or one external battery, okay, and whenever current flowing through the material because of the external battery, that is called simply drift current or conduction current. The direction of conduction current is opposite to the direction of flow of free electrons. And displacement current, the current flowing due to the flow of charges, okay, the current flowing to the current flowing due to the flow of charges in dielectrics under the influence of time varying electric field, okay, is called displacement. And whenever the sinusoidal source is connected to the dielectric material, okay, what is the current flow existed on the surface is called displacement current, okay. And diffusion current, what is meant by diffusion current? Okay, see here the example for the current flowing between the plates of the capacitor. Okay, and when we consider the two metal plates in between, or simply these two metal plates are separated by some air as a dielectric material. Okay, and whenever one sinusoidal source is connected to that capacitor, okay, the charge imposed on the surface of that metal plates is varied according to the polarity of sinusoidal signal, right? Okay, and the current flowing between the plates of the capacitor and through the dielectric material or a vacuum, given time varying potential is applied, current should say displacement current. Okay. Next, diffusion current, the current flowing due to the movement of free electrons and free holes to the make uniform charge density in a semiconducting material is called diffusion current. Okay, these are the three types of currents. Those are the three types of currents. Next, current density. Current density in a medium. Current density, current per unit area, right? I by A. Current density. That current density denoted with capital J. Current density is denoted with capital J. The current density in a medium is given at any point is defined as a flow of current per unit area. Current per unit area is nothing but current density. Okay, the direction which is normal to the surface of the area. Okay, and actually it is considered perpendicular. Okay, see here, derivation is it's very simple. Consider a differential current di flowing through the differential surface area ds, then current density J is expressed as J equal to di by ds. What is meant by I here? I equal to dq by dt. Okay, J equal to di by ds. Okay, so the differential current di equal to J dot ds. The differential current di equal to J dot ds. Okay, and from the above expression, okay, from expression 3.3, okay, J equal to di by ds. From this, di equal to J into ds. See, J into ds. So the total current I equal to surface integral of J dot ds. Sorry, J dot ds. This is amperes. Okay, not a individual term. So if J and ds are parallel, if J and ds are parallel to each other, then I equal to surface integral of J dot ds or simply JDS. Okay, the uniform surface area S and current I equal to Js amperes. Okay, that is the conduction current density J. Okay. Is it okay? Next concept is Ohm's law. Okay, Ohm's law. Ohm's law and conductivity. What is meant by Ohm's law? Ohm's law is already old Ohm's law. Okay, Ohm's law states that V proportional to I, right? But in most of the cases, okay, you forgot about, okay, the terms and conditions of that Ohm's law. Okay, what are the terms and conditions of that Ohm's law? Okay, And most of when I'm asking what is meant by Ohm's law, and most of you answer me as V proportional to I, sir. V proportional to I, V equal to IR, or equal to V by I. Okay. Of course, all the answers are correct, but the point here is, okay, what are the terms and conditions behind that Ohm's law? Okay, that Ohm's law, is it okay? Um, is it your household electric bulb? Okay, and in your house, is it that electric bulb obeys that Ohm's law? Okay, is it that electric bulb obeys? Is it our electric fan obeys that Ohm's law? Okay, not exactly. Why? Because that Ohm's law is hold good only for a constant temperature. Okay, of course that Ohm's law is V proportional to R, V proportional to I, V equal to IR, okay, R equal to V by I. Okay, everything is right, but okay, all those relations are holds good only when that temperature is constant. Okay, that atmospheric temperature, or that at situation the temperature is constant, then only that holds good. Okay, otherwise, and whenever the temperature increases, okay, whenever when we consider one copper wire, okay, just when we consider one copper wire, okay, that copper wire is enriched with number of electrons. Okay, whenever when supply voltage increases, the electrons passing through that wire also increases, right? But whenever the temperature increases, okay, is it that electrons properly flowing through that wire? Okay, see here, for suppose this is the one copper wire. Okay, this is having number of electrons. Okay, okay, for suppose these are the electrons are moving in this direction. Okay, let us assume. Okay, and actually here I am connecting one source. Okay, this is positive, sorry, this is negative, and this is positive. Okay, this negative repels the electron charge negative. Okay, these electrons are okay, away from that this negative charge, and at the same time this positive charge is attracted, right? Okay, actually the for problem is, okay, we actually the relation is V proportional to I, V equal to IR. Okay, this relation is holds good only when, okay, here temperature is constant. Okay, that is the terms and conditions. Okay, for suppose when I am heating this copper wire, is this electrons properly flowing through here? Okay, because of this temperature and the thermal agitation, okay, these electrons are diffracted. Okay, actually they are moving away from that actual path. Okay, because of that agitation, okay, that electron collision is occurred. Okay, or because of that agitation, the electrons are not properly moving in the same direction. Okay, because of that the electron flow decreases because of the agitation. Okay, because of that agitation, for suppose when we consider a college entrance, or okay, entrance of our house. Okay, one by one person is coming into the house, into the room. Okay, then there is no problem. Okay, but the cluster of the persons, the number of students are moving same uh, at a time. Okay, okay, uh, is it properly they are moving from one place to another place in that room? No. Okay, that's why that movement always takes much more time, or simply uh, because of the improper path. Okay, it takes much time. Okay, and then that flow decreases. Whenever that flow decreases, current flow also decreases. Okay, that is the situation here, and because of the thermal agitation, they are okay, not in proper path. Okay, and that is always, and whenever the temperature increases, okay, that Ohm's law is not holds good. Okay, that is the point. Okay, I want to tell you. See here the conductors are the materials which allows the flow of electrons through it with very low resistance. Okay, whenever potential V is applied across the conductor from an external source, the free charges are moved and the electric field is created due to that force on the charge carriers. Okay, here E not equal to zero, and something E is existed inside the conductor. The charge flow depends on the resistance of the conductors. According to the Ohm's law, the flow of current is proportional to the applied potential and its direction is opposite to the direction of the flow of electrons. Mathematically, that Ohm's law is stated as what? mathematical form. Okay, V proportional to I or V equal to IR, right? The proportionality constant. Okay, the proportionality constant R is called resistance of the material. Okay, measured in ohms. Let the conductor have a length L and uniform cross section area S. The resistance R equal to V by I equal to V. What is meant by V and what is meant by I? From the above relations. V is the electric potential, right? V is the electric potential. V equal to E into D, right? This is the fundamental relation. What is meant by D? Distance between the plates. Okay, here that same is represented as E into L. So V equal to E into L. Okay, similarly I equal to J into S. Okay, from the above relation. So resistance R equal to V by I equal to E into L by J into S equal to E into L by sigma into J equal to, what is meant by J? Conduction current density, right? So J equal to sigma E. Okay, this is the actually this is also Ohm's law. J equal to sigma E, where J is the conduction current density, sigma is the conductivity, right? E is the applied electric field. So that J is replaced with sigma E, and this is S. So E into L by sigma E into S. Okay. So E and E. Okay. This E both are cancelled. L by sigma S equal to rho L by S ohms. Okay. Where sigma is the conductivity expressed in Mohs. Where sigma is the conductivity expressed in Mohs per meter or Siemens per meter. Okay. Rho equal to 1 by sigma is the resistivity of the material expressed in ohm per meter. For example, copper wire. When we take the copper wire, okay, copper wire of length 1.1 millimeter diameter and length of 50 meters and offers a resistance of 0.49 ohms. Why? Because its resistance is very low. Why? Because copper wire is a purely conductor, right? That's why it offers very low resistance as 0.49 ohms. Okay, for a good conductors, the conductivity is very high. Sigma is much greater than 1. Good conductors means, of course, the gold and silver, aluminum, copper, all those are considered as I mean, good conductors. Okay, not as superconductors. The gold and silver materials are considered as superconductors. See here, the good conductors, the conductivity is very high and it is constant over a weak electric field. Okay, typically this values or sigma equal to 3.83 in 10 power 7 Siemens per meter. Okay, or simply mho per meter. Aluminum, copper 5.8, sigma for the silver 6.17. Okay, for lead material 5 into 10 power 6. Okay, for insulators the conductivity is very low. Sigma value is much less than 1, and the typical values are, see here, 10 power minus 4 sigma value. Only that much of lower conductivity is having 0.0001. Okay, 10 power minus 4 Siemens per meter. For paper, 10 power minus 7. Okay, for semiconductors the conductivity is in the range of conductors and insulators. The typical value for the silicon is 10 power minus 3 and germanium is 1.2. See here, conductivity is somewhat good for germanium material, but availability is low. That's why we always prefer silicon material because of the thermal stability and availability. Okay, for silicon material, sigma is approximately equal to 10 power minus 3, and for germanium, sigma value equal to 1.2 Siemens per meter. Okay, for perfect insulators, the conductivity is 0. Okay, for perfect insulators, okay, for perfect insulators, the conductivity is is 0. Okay, this requires J equal to 0 and is independent of E. Okay, for perfect conductors, conductivity is infinite. Okay, for perfect conductors, conductivity is infinite. This requires E equal to 0 and is independent of J. Okay, conductivity always depends upon the temperature. When it is very low, okay, conductivity is depends upon temperature. Generally, the conductivity of the metals increases as the temperature decreases. Okay, see here, conductivity of metals increases as the temperature decreases. Okay, and when the temperature decreases, conductivity increases. Already I told you. Okay, whenever the copper wire is getting heated, okay, the conductivity decreases, right? The resistivity of some metals, okay, the resistivity of some metals abruptly drops to zero, and conductivity rises to infinite as the temperature decreases to a few degrees Kelvin. Such metals are called superconductors. Okay, this is very important point. The resistivity of some metals abruptly drops to zero, and conductivity rises to infinite. Okay, resistance becomes, or resistivity getting zero means conductivity becomes infinite, right? As the temperature decreases to a few degrees Kelvin, such metals are called superconductors. Okay. Uh, Now you have a clear clarity between what are the conductors, semiconductors, insulators, okay, Ohm's law and conductivity, conduction current density, right? And what are the different types of currents, electric currents. So the next concept is relationship between J and rho v. This is very very important. Okay, remember the relationship between J and rho v. Okay, so what is the J and rho v? J is the conduction current density, rho v is the volume charge density. Okay, what is the relation these two are having? See here, relationship between J and rho v. Consider a volume charge distribution or volume charge density, rho v coulombs per meter cube, and let dv is the differential volume across the surface, ds, and distance uh, in the x direction is the dx. Okay, the surface s is normal to the direction of current density j. Okay, let us assume. Okay, when we consider one cube, okay, which is having a volume charge density as rho v in the direction of x. Okay, just we consider differential surface charge, surface area ds. Okay, in that okay, conduction current density which is perpendicular is j. Okay, the differential charge within the differential volume dq equal to rho v into dv. That is already you know, right? Okay, how? What is meant by line charge density? Rho l equal to dq by dl, right? Similarly, volume charge density rho v equal to dq by charge per volume, right? dv. From this, dq equal to rho v into dv. Okay, this is the dq equal to rho v dv. This is the relation we got this, right? Similarly, this is the volume, right? Can I write it as surface area into width? Okay, actually this is the area, length into width into height, right? But length into width is the area into height is the volume. Okay, so rho v equal to rho v into ds into dx. The differential current dA equal to dq by dt. That is already you know, dA equal to dq by dt. So dq is replaced with rho v into ds into dx. Okay, this this rho v into ds into dx, this dq is replaced with, okay, rho v into ds into dx by dt, right? So rho v into dx by dt is nothing but change in length with respect to time is the vd, right? So di by ds, di by, okay, di by ds equal to rho v into vd. So this is the relation between different that is the drift velocity, right? Okay, vd is the drift velocity. Okay, velocity equal distance by time, right? Okay, so this is the distance, this is by time, distance by time equal to velocity, drift velocity. So di by ds equal to rho v into Vd. We know that J equal to dA by ds. So from this, J equal to rho v into Vd. The current density is linearly proportional. Okay, the current density is linearly proportional to drift velocity of electrons and charge density. The current density is linearly proportional to the drift velocity of electrons and charge density. Okay, that is the relation between J and rho v and Vd. See here, this is the point form of Ohm's law. Okay, relation between J and E. Actually, that is the J equal to sigma E, right? J equal to sigma E, and that is already I think you learn in ADC first unit semiconductor physics. Okay, without this topic, there is no semiconductor physics. Okay, point form of Ohm's law. See here, consider free electrons are moving around a conductor. Of course, this is not required, but for the sake of learning, we consider here. Consider free electrons moving in a conductor. Okay, under the electric field E, we know that the force on the electrons having a charge Q, F equal to QE. That is already, F equal to QE relation between under the force developed due to that moment of because of the electric field on the charge Q, F equal to QE. So due to the force F, the electrons will move with an average velocity called drift velocity Vd. The drift velocity is linearly proportional to the electric field intensity. That is Vd proportional to E, or Vd equal to minus mu E. V equal to mu E. That is the relation between mobility and drift velocity. Okay, where mu E is the electron mobility within the conductor. The negative sign indicates that electron velocity is opposite to the direction of electric field. The unit of mobility mu E equal to minus Vd by E, meters per second or volt per meter, or meter square per volt second. Um, okay, simply you have to substitute here. Okay, from that Vd equal to mu E equal to minus Vd by E, right? Okay, okay. From the above equation, we know that the current is flowing and the conduction current density J is linear related to drift velocity from the above equation. J equal to rho E into Vd, right? Okay, just you have to substitute here. Rho E equal to rho E is the conduction current density, right? Rho E equal to okay, charge density. Okay, charge density means the number of electrons. Okay, the number of electrons into their charge, right? So n into E, where n is the concentration of electrons. Okay, concentration of charges. Okay, rho E equal to n into E is the electron charge density equal to number of electrons per cubic meter, and okay, the number of electrons per cubic meter and electric charge equal to n into 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 okay, coulombs per meter cube. It is also called as volume charge density rho v. Okay, substituting that value of drift velocity J equal to minus QE into rho E into E. Okay, so QE into E. Okay, and rho E. What do you mean by rho E here? Okay, charge density, right? Electron charge density n into E. So J equal to n into E into mu E into E. Okay, where n E mu. See here, n E mu means n E mu means sigma. Sigma equal to n E mu. Okay, basically. So that is simply n E mu is replaced with sigma. Okay, J equal to sigma E. Okay, this is the relation between J and E. Okay, actually, this derivation is not required, but you must know the relationship between J and E. Okay, the relationship is very important, and this is called a basic Ohm's law. The relationship is called a point form of Ohm's law. Because conductivity sigma is a material property which relates the applied electric field E to the electric current density J in the material due to free charge carriers. Okay, see here one example. Okay, silver, a sample silver has sigma equal to 6.17 into 10 power 7 ohm per meter, and mu e equal to 0.056 meter square per volt second. Determine the electric field intensity E and drift velocity Vd and J equal to 10 power 7 ampere per meter. Okay. So as per the given data, sigma equal to 6.17, and that is the conductivity of the silver and mobility and drift velocity. And we know that drift velocity Vd equal to minus mu into F, mu into E, right? From that, electric field intensity E equal to drift velocity by mobility. From that, we get electric field E. From that, second point, J equal to sigma E, right? So from that, electric field intensity E equal to J by sigma. Okay, we get 0.1621 volt per meter. Okay, and all of you please go through this second problem. Okay, 3.2. Okay, this is also similar kind. Similarly, next concept is the dielectric materials. Okay, if possible, I will continue this concept in today only. But okay, actually the 12 to 1 class is there. Okay, after that I will try to check your tutorial class. Okay, to continue this remaining topic. Okay, that's all for today's class. I will continue in the next class. Okay, thank you everybody.